welcome again to this epic installment of the Hot Seat, an MNL program proudly sponsored by Gemcon Consultants. And today I'm joined by the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association President Mxolisi Ndlovu. It is an immense pleasure and a great privilege to meet him. I've been seeking this man for a long time, but today he is here. Welcome to this program, MX.
Thank you, Manguero. Welcome to the viewers. Welcome everybody.
And yes, we are going to talk about volleyball issues in Zimbabwe, and this is the number one man in Zimbabwe volleyball, and I hope you were all waiting for this moment. And today, let's get straight into it. Mr. President, people are talking about the national team. I thought maybe let me first talk about the national team before anything else. Please tell us the national team. Where are the national teams?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manguero. First and foremost, we want to tell the volleyball stakeholders, the volleyball nation, and everyone at large that the national teams are number one pillars of in our strategy. They are part of our strategy. Yes, what we know is that senior national teams have not been active, I think, since 2016, when we last saw the national team. I think the last competition was when we went to Botswana for the Olympic qualifiers. So yes, a national association is known by a national team, and it's maybe rather unfortunate that it has taken so many years without us having, I would say in quotes, senior national team, because we, particularly if we're talking about indoor, because we have had national teams active, we have had our junior national teams active and actively competing. We have had our beach volleyball national teams actively competing. Maybe until around 2020, that's when we last had our beach volleyball national teams senior competing. We've had our junior teams competing much of late. I think the last being the region 5 in indoor, our under 20 competed there. The under 20 also last competed last year in beach volleyball, the World Championship qualifiers in Morocco. So yes, we have had national team activities. We have tried the senior national teams because that's the outcry not of only the stakeholders but also us as a nation, to say at least we have our senior national teams having some sort of competitions. We know we have put them into training, appointed coaches in anticipation of the competitions which were coming. First it was the Nations Championship. As a country we were ready to host, yes, we didn't manage. Then the second, we had an opportunity which arose for the African Games when we were part of the travel delegation for Zimbabwe, but unfortunately at the last minute the government through the Sports and Recreation Commission dropped most of the team sports. That included volleyball. We had qualified for that because in terms of registration within the zone, we were the only registered team for men by then. So we still seek competition. We tried to have some friendly matches, I think last year with South Africa. It didn't materialize because then South Africa wasn't ready. And I think strategically we're still looking to say at least we have some competition for the national team. This is part of our priority. We know the outcry, and we also want to gauge ourselves as a nation to say where are we in terms of performance for the national teams.
Yes, and talking about the Africa Games, you were dropped at the last minute. Was there no other way of going there? Maybe possibly the association funding the team and make the government delegation?
Yes, the opportunities were there, though they were very slim. I think first and foremost, it was an issue to say when we are dropped from the traveling delegation, obviously then the government drops you from accreditation. And we needed to do maybe fresh negotiations with government and show cause that we have got the financial must in that short space of time to take the team to the African Games at the same conditions of the traveling contingents. I will give you an example. Cricket was dropped because they had the financial must. They had to take their team to the African Games. Ourselves and other team sports, because of the timelines which were given, and there was no financial must. It's like you are told today you are dropped, and on the day you are told the closing day for registration is tomorrow. So the timelines to first consult, to look for funding is within 1 day.
Yes.
And I think everybody will agree with me to say if you don't have readily available funds at that particular moment, it's some way close to impossible. Even though there was that particular option, it was difficult to take because you have to make a decision and make sure you've got resources within a day. So that is how then we opted to say we would rather not go because the resources were not readily available. The games were in 1 month's time, and the closing registration was in a day. So I understand there were pressures also within the government, which made us being dropped. It's part of the game. It happens when resources are really scarce. They are not scarce for us also. The government, I think, also is got other priorities.
There are feelings in the streets that there is a generation, the current generation, we are going to lose it. We are never going to see them performing at the international stage. What is your feeling about that?
We have the same feeling, Thomas. I think it's not just a feeling, but if you look from 2016 to 2024, we have got the current generation, but there's a generation which we've already lost in between. So probably this is the second generation from 2016. If you count like 8 years, I think the peak period of an athlete is around 4 to 5 years. So if you count 2016 up to, I know we had COVID in between and all other generations were lost through COVID. But it's an issue which we are trying to work on as an association. You see, like I was saying, we try to make sure that at least there are competitions. I'm sure within the region also there is the same sentiments to say, can we maybe look at alternatives on how we can then get our national teams at least to compete. And also obviously the issues which we are faced with is the issues of capacity in terms of funding. You know, national teams usually within most of the trust structures, most of the countries, is a responsibility of the government, but maybe not with Zimbabwe, maybe most of the countries within the region. So it has become a very, very difficult situation where the associations has to fend for the national teams. We will see that we have managed to still do something with beach volleyball because the cost is very minimal.
Yeah, and people are saying, why didn't you prioritize volleyball for the African Games rather than the six-a-side? Maybe you could have gotten a chance to sneak into the delegation.
I do understand the sentiments, and I agree with people in the streets to say we would have prioritized beach volleyball. But you see, when the sports are prioritized, they are prioritized by those who have got the responsibility of the games. And yes, you know who is responsible for the Africa Games is the government through the respective structures, the local organizing committee. And they have got the template which is being used to prioritize sports court. Volleyball was prioritized. We had wanted to prioritize both beach volleyball and indoor. Yes, and indoor, and both teams, men and women. But then the priority is because of past performance, what have we done? The last African Games we went to in Morocco, beach volleyball didn't perform very well. And that was the record which we were holding at that particular point of time, and they were dropped under that pretext. I think we never won a match in that competition in the last African Games, if I'm not mistaken. Then indoor, particularly our under 20 men performed very well. They were impressive when we went to the Region 5. And I think everyone will attest to me to say in the men's category of volleyball, we far much doing better maybe than all the other categories of the game. So when those who are responsible for the game were looking at those statistics, the men's team came out as the best team for volleyball, which can represent the country at that particular point of time.
Well, viewers, you have heard it from the man himself, and this was the first part of this episode, and we are going away for a moment and to meet again in the second segment. Yes, welcome back, viewers, to the second segment of this episode of the Hot Seat. This is an MNL program proudly sponsored by Gemcon Consultancy, and today I am joined by the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association President Mxolisi Ndlovu, and my name is Thomas Mangwiro. In the first segment we talked about the national teams, and now the man is still here. Mr. President, let's talk about the Zimbabwe Premier Volleyball League. For years, the league has been running without sponsorship. Can we expect anything new in the 2024 season?
Thank you, Mangwiro. I don't know whether to say we expect new or we'll go back to the same old to the same old story. Why I'm saying that is just because as we speak now, the Zimbabwe Premier Volleyball League Committee hasn't tied up any sponsorship which we can maybe talk about. Though we're still running around. I think we know that it's mostly the economic situation in Zimbabwe, sponsorship drought. Yes, we wouldn't say we haven't got any helpers for us on the Premier Volleyball League, but maybe it has not been to a magnitude where we would want it to be. We have been sending several proposals, having several meetings, but you know, it's the same old story. The economic situation is not conducive for massive sponsorship. I think coupled with that, what we actually need to do, all of us in volleyball, is to make sure that we grow numbers. That is one of the thrust, whether we grow numbers in our social media handles, we grow numbers of people coming to the courts. I think that's the other way we can try and tie sponsorship. Yes, we are trying on that. We trying to move in terms of numbers as one of the selling points for the Zimbabwe Premier Volleyball League. I think we have been trying very much to run it as professional as possible without a sponsor. I think for the past 13 years. So from 2010, when we had the first episode of the then National League, yes, up to 2023, I think we only had 1 year where we did a coverage in 2020 where we had the COVID pandemic, and we've managed to conclude all the volleyball matches. The competition have been concluding, yes, without a sponsor. I think we have grown up a product. We have grown up a product which is sellable. and maybe just trying to put loose ends and making sure that we're able to convince sponsors and partners to partner with us and show that the product is selling to them. Like I have said, we have had people who have helped us one way or the other. Generally, maybe sometimes you get people doing medals, doing one or two things. Almost every year, yes, we get those helpers. But to get the title sponsor, I think is one of the things which we tried to work on. And we hope that with the growth of the league, you see how the league has grown. With the growth of the league, we should be able to, at least one point of time, be able to tie down a meaningful sponsorship which will benefit the league itself.
Yeah, you talked about trying to bring in a lot of people to the courts, and also you've grown your product. But from the ground, the last communication from the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association is showing that only 4 male teams and 3 female teams had registered to participate in the 2024 season. Yet, when you want the people to come, the teams are trying to stay away. There is a situation which we uncovered. Some of these teams are saying last year we were promised the prize monies and were given envelopes with the monies written on the envelopes, but the money did not come. So they are saying we are waiting for the association to pay us first, then we pay the affiliation. What is your comment on that?
Okay, thank you, Manuel. I will agree that there were prize monies which were announced directly by the sponsor on the day. For those who were there on that particular day, the sponsor announced that yes, as a sponsor, I will give so much money to the winning teams. And as Zimbabwe Volleyball, we are still waiting for the sponsor to provide those fundings. We are in communication, and the sponsor is still promised to fulfill the obligations which they did assert to the team. I think you remember everyone was there to hear the sponsor themselves saying yes, we are providing so much prize money to the teams in this category, and we're still pursuing that. The sponsor promised, and he has undertaken that, or the sponsor is undertaking that they will still fulfill that. I don't think that probably is the reason why maybe the teams have shun away. I don't know the current situation, because the last update was before the last deadline which was given to the teams. We might be having a different situation altogether.
So as of today, you don't have the actual number of those who have registered by now, other than the last communication?
No, I know that the numbers have moved, but maybe I can't give you off yet to say how many have registered in this category, how many have registered. But I know that yes, really the numbers have moved, and still promise that we will have a very good Zimbabwe Premier Volleyball League in the year 2024, and we invite everyone to come and enjoy the
And when are we
volleyball.
expecting to see the games starting? Because from the proposed calendar, which was released sometime last year, it proposed the 18th and 19th of May. Are we still going to see ZPVL kicking off on that date?
Obviously, I think with where the timelines are, 18th of May might not really be possible, but I think the end of the month we should be able to see the games starting off. The ZPVL team is busy now doing consolidations, preparations, and obviously the fixturing of the registered teams. And the indications are that probably by the end of the month. And remember, the ZPVL also has to go through under the FIVB approval and registration, because we run the league outside the prescribed FIVB National League season, which is between October and May. And ours, obviously, because of weather conditions, we also run it outdoor. Most of the games are played outdoor. We run it usually between May and November, and that's the national team season according to FIVB. So we always have to get a special approval to undertake the games during that time.
There's also the thorny issue of refereeing. We've seen over the years issues of referees on the ground, the refereeing standards deteriorating, and in most cases we have so many international referees, but in most games they are not officiating the matches. They are giving the matches to younger referees, which is a good thing, but most of the time they spend their time not practicing, but then you see them at the zone 6. Do you have any comment about international referees not taking up matches during the ZPVL?
Yes, obviously I do have comments on that. Remember, when you do development, there is people in economics, there is what they call opportunity cost. To say you have to lose something so that you can gain something. It's a deliberate ploy that we have to develop referees, upcoming referees, succession plans or plan of the current referees, and you know that FIVB have been doing the international refereeing course for a long period of time, and we don't know when they will open up for the usual international refereeing course. So we have to do our own development. It's a deliberate effort, yes, maybe at the expense of sometimes the quality, yes, we do agree, but we also try to say our international referees, those referees whom we task to develop other referees, make sure that amongst the pool which they would have chosen at that particular time, they will end up coming up with the best referees who will also perform at the very level of the international referees as we going forward. Yes, I know within the zone, Zimbabwe has got the highest number of international referees as we speak, but we also need to develop our own referees. It's also a deliberate effort to say once we do that, as we know, we move within provinces, we have competitions within provinces, so it might then end up being a cost saver in the long run, where we don't need to move referees most of the time, maybe from Harare or from Bulawayo, where we've got the majority of referees to other provinces, and it's usually costly for the association, not only for the association, but costly to the league. The money which we could plow back maybe to give back to the Premier League is then covered up with the accommodation transport bill for the referees. So we're trying to develop a bigger pool of referees by doing that. But maybe we want to assure the volleyball nation that in that particular effort we also want our international referees or our referee leadership to choose the best out of the ones we are developing.
Are we going to see in 2024 where a person will not take mount roles in the league? For example, he is an administrator with the association. He's also a referee. He's also a coach for another team or a player for another team. We have seen that a multiple number of times.
I understand you, but I can't give you assurance that we will not see that. But I think really,
but don't you think
in terms of corporate governance,
yes,
I think we don't encourage that. You remember, even within ourselves, within the board, the encouragement is that once you take an administrative or a higher role, you mostly supposed to relinquish your lower positions or your lower operations. Well, it's not really qualified to say you can't be a coach, you can't be a referee, but it qualifies to say probably if you are a leader, let's say of a club or a province, and you become maybe a member of the executive of ZVA, you then have to relinquish the other post. I think it's what we want to do, so that at least there is checks and balances, so that you can't really check yourself. I really agree with you, but in terms of building capacity, that is why sometimes you see us trying to build capacity in these referees, in these young coaches, because we want to make sure that we've got a large pool so that we eliminate those multi-role. You have been around for a longer period of time, and you know that in the previous years it was actually worse than what we have right now, and we are gradually moving away from that. But it's not a one-day thing. That's why I'm saying in 2024, really, I can't assure you that you will not see a referee who is a coach, or an administrator who sometimes becomes a coach. And also there are other things which have got that effect sometimes, to say we have got other institutional teams where the person who is maybe in a leadership position is really the backbone of that particular team. You might not really eliminate that person maybe from the administration of the team, maybe as a team manager or something, getting involved, and also maybe getting involved in administration because of the dynamics, to say the team is part of his daily duties at work. So, but we're trying to build capacity so that at least we have very, very few people who are dabbling in terms of the roles.
Yes, viewers, that was the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association President, Mr. Mxolisi Ndlovu, talking about the Zimbabwe Premier Volleyball League. And this was the second segment. We are going away for a moment, and we will be coming back into the third and final segment of this episode. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. This is the third and final segment of this episode of the MNL program, Hot Seat, proudly sponsored by GEMCON. I'm your man, Thomas Mangwiro, and today I'm privileged to have the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association President, Mr. Mxolisi Ndlovu, talking to us. It has been a great pleasure talking to him, and now in the last episode, Mr. President, we are now in the final episode, and I understand final segment in this episode. I understand that this year you will be holding your congress in Bindura, where you are going to have the elections on the agenda. Are you running again for the president?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mangwiro. I think firstly maybe just a small correction. The Congress is in Manicaland.
Oh, Manicaland, yes.
Yes, the Congress is in Manicaland. On your second question, to say am I running, I don't know.
People want to know.
I don't know. Remember, you run at the request of the people you serve. So if people want me to serve, I will serve.
So technically, viewers, he has dodged the question, but I think he is going to run. So let's continue, Mr. President.
I didn't say that. I didn't say I want to run.
So in the board this year, are you going to talk about a player transfer policy? Because I understand at national level you don't have one. I've seen the Harare Provincial Harare Volleyball Association has tried to come up with one. Are you going to have one which will bind the whole nation?
Thank you, Mr. Mangwiro. Probably maybe it's reframing the current policy which we have. The policy is there.
Why I asked you, if I may interject, because we've seen during the Zimbabwe Premier Volleyball League, a player playing for one team and the other outside the window, and it has been put under the carpet.
Those are some of maybe the administrative issues which we then might need to look into, but that does not mean that we don't have a policy. Because, for example, we've already said that outside the window, meaning that there is a window, and I'm sure that we have had sanctions for some of the cases which have happened. Sanctions have been given for such things, meaning that the policy is generally there, and the policy has always been there, I think, over the years. We have the transfer window, we have the regulations of how the player transfer from one club to another club. We have the charges of the transfer. So if someone violates a policy, it does not mean that the policy is not there. Probably we might talk of the enforcement to say is the enforcement effective or it is ineffective. If it is ineffective, yes, we look at how effectively can we enforce the transfer policy. But what I can tell everyone else to say within the board, we are strengthening that transfer policy. There is a committee which is running that, which was tasked by the board of administration to enforce the transfer policy. One, because there are a lot of things which we then look at. Two, firstly is the transfer window.
Yes.
I think you will see that in 2024 we changed from what was there over the years. We used to say the window opens on 1 January to 31 March.
Yes.
Then we have got another window in July. But now, remember, we said the current policy says, as per board resolution, that the moment we finish the Premier League, the window opens. And once the window opens, it will close. It will close on the 31st of March as per previous, and then we have again the second window in July. There were reasons. It looks like just a minor change of dates, but there are reasons for that. The reasons is that we want to give the teams a longer period to look for players, try them. If we finish in November, we've got one extra month to look for players and then try them. And it also what the teams were crying for, to say this January window, obviously the whole January most of the teams are not active.
Yes.
And it's a time which is just spent and they can't even access their own the athletes they are trying to get. So we try to incorporate that. So yes, we are affirming strengthening the transfer policy. Maybe there are other things which will come up with as we see the committee which is working on that and will be presenting in the next quarter board of administration in June with the final transfer policy. But in terms of what is there now, we know the transfer policy and everybody knows the transfer policy, including the international transfer policy.
Okay. And I also want to talk about the PVAs, your provincial association. As the national association, are you happy with the activities of all your 10 provinces?
Yes, I would say currently we happy with the progress. Obviously, we want to have more, and PVAs are not at the same level, admittedly, because of different reasons. One, the geographical standpoint of different provinces. I will give you, if you look at Midlands,
Yes.
you come from Boko down to Zushaba and Shuruku. Yes, and if you look at Matebeleland South, you come down from Beitbridge to Mbembes.
Yes.
Matebeleland North, you come down from Victoria Falls going down to Mbembes, and all those particular dynamics. So if you were to have like your, say, your provincial league in Matebeleland South, we have got a team which will have to pass through another province to go for a competition. If the competition is in Gwanda, a team from Blantyre will have to get to Bulawayo, then probably play some games in Bulawayo, then proceed to Gwanda.
But at some point, we have to get there because other sport codes are managing that. Don't you think we should try?
Yes, I agree with you. Our PVAs are trying. I will tell you that those, whilst we have got the biggest activity maybe hyped in one town in the rural provinces per se,
Yes.
but we have got teams and competitions from the other districts. I will tell you that teams from Blantyre go play in Gwanda, teams from Felapes go play in Gwanda. I will give you Manikale. We have got activities. They have got a very viable district association structure. All the districts have got their administrative structures, and the activities are happening at district level. Yes, because once you are in a district situation, the activities might be low and people maybe not hype them. But yes, there is activity. Like I have said that our provinces are not at the same level. We have got some provinces which, by virtue of that, they've built their capacity over the years. And some of the provinces are really feeders of other provinces. So they will not always be at the same level, but to say to the point, we have got activities at different levels in all the 10 provinces in the country. And we are one of the very few associations which have got structures in all 10 provinces. Most of the national federations, they've got structures at national levels, and very few provinces scattered in the urban areas. But as ZVA, we are one of the associations which have got activities in almost all the 10 provinces in the country.
But don't you think the monopolization of the membership of ZVA by provinces is incapacitated the association? We have seen in a number of cases when provinces failing to turn up for AGMs. Don't you think you need to expand your membership from only the provinces? And also you have 10 provinces as the members, and they all have 2 voting rights each to make them 20. Why can't you have other memberships outside the provinces?
Thank you. That's really a constitutional issue, Mr. Mangwero. But also what I would want to advise is that the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association constitution, if you read it very well, it takes the exact form and structure of the FIVB and the CAVB constitution, and it even goes down to the PVAs. It has to take that form, where the national federations are the only members of the FIVB.
And naturally, they have to have countries as members.
As
when
members.
we come down, let me. I don't want to demean ZVA, but I've seen some other quarters. Football, for example, they have the provincial associations as members of CIFA. They have the Premier League clubs as members of CIFA. Can you adopt the same?
We will not say it's a bad idea.
And I'm not also saying it is a good idea.
It's a good idea, but I think it's one of the possible structures. We have got what we call affiliate members, if you know. And affiliate members, they come in many forms. We've got NASH, we've got NAF, we've got ATS, all those who have got seats
in the club,
in the board.
And all these all come without voting rights.
And the Premier League, yes, all those who come.
What people want, every person is a political animal. They want to have a say in the way they are governed. They don't want to be affiliate members. They want to come in as members with a say.
Yes, as I said, it's a possibility. We are getting to the Congress. It's up to the membership the current membership who can then propose. Because remember, all of these affiliate members whom we are talking about right now, they are part of the membership of ZVA in one way or the other.
So they also have a right to propose?
They have a right to propose, as long as there is a proposal which will come either through the membership, through the association, is deliberated, or is coming through the board to say this is what we have. And if the Congress thinks that this is how we want to structure, we can then put the constitutional amendment and make sure that that is the structure which we put. As long as it has come through the proper constitutional amendment, it's the way what we want to, how we want to govern ourselves, and how we want to structure our governance document, which is the constitution. But for starters, remember when we adopted this constitution, I think it was in 1998 in Guero, for those who were there. We had redone the constitution in such a way that it mirrors exactly the FIVB and the CAVB constitution. And we have, the Congress has always thought that it's good that we always affirm to that particular kind of structure. But if the members feel that we want to do a deviation, it's the prerogative of the members. They can pass a resolution through the constitutional amendment during the Congress. And they've got the opportunity in 2024 to do so.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that. And now away from the national issues, I now want to talk to you about yourself briefly. I understand you unpacked your sports management bundle, which you authored. Can you tell us briefly about that?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mangwiro. I think I've got a passion for sports management as an asmician. So the bundle will help upcoming administrators. It will help to nurture administrators in terms of improving their administrative skills. And I think that it is good for sports or not generally volleyball only, but every sport in general in terms of sports management, corporate governance, HR, all the facets. Remember, I'm an FIVB expert in terms of sports management. I have been an instructor in the CAVB Sports Administration Academy also. So we have done a lot of work. We have graduated quite a number of administrators within the continent through the CAVB Academy. And we would want maybe to put out most of the knowledge out there. You know, it's not good sometimes to stay with the knowledge and not pass it on to other people. We're not here for forever. Because remember, when we have left office or when you are doing other things, you don't want to say, but these people are not doing the things very well when we have not transferred knowledge. So we still need to transfer knowledge to the upcoming administrators and also help our administrative arms to improve in general. So that was the motivation.
So where can we find the book and at what cost?
Okay, currently the book is available. From myself, you can also get in touch with Supreme Media, who are the publishers of the bundle. The cost currently it's negotiable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, viewers, we have it from the man himself, and that leaves me to thank the President for having time with us. Mr. President, thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you very much. It is
we hope to have you again in the next episode.
It's a pleasure.
Well, viewers, that was our episode with the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association President Mr. Mxolisi Ndlovu, where we discussed a number of issues and we hope to have him during the course of the year. I am your man, Thomas Mangwiro. This was the MNL episode of the Hot Seat, proudly sponsored by GemCon Consultancy. For today, we are out. Let's meet in the next episode.